Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic and this is another reaction to Steins Gate Zero. It is episode 4 and you know what to do. As always, if you want to see the reaction itself, just go down into my descriptions. You will find links, just replace the circumflex dot parts with real dots and enjoy the reaction. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear my thoughts and discussions and ideas about this episode. So, see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, as I said already, I wrote down quite a lot, and there are many hints already, in my opinion, for things to come. Very many things that will possibly later on make sense. I stopped in this episode with a picture here for one of those, the I called back moment, which is one of the first things I wrote down. Not the first, however, but one of the firsts. So we have, as it seems, some kind of a reading Steiner. And there is something that Ocarina doesn't remember. Which possibly means that either he jumped and is in a timeline now where he did call back to Amadeus. That would be one option, why he doesn't remember it. Or someone else changed something why he doesn't remember calling back. However, I think that in this case Amadeus wouldn't lie to him. Which, by the way, brings up a thing, can Amadeus lie? And normally you would say no, a computer cannot lie. He doesn't know the concept about it, and he always speaks the truth by programming. You cannot lie, but you could program it. And the other thing is, if a computer can lie, then for sure it would be Amadeus. So that we already have in. So I definitely will look out for this here, for this memory lapse that he has of this callback, and there had to be a moment of why he did it. And I thought about what happened directly before. If you think about it, before we jump into this episode, Maho came up on the roof and kind of pushed the phone from his hand, I think, and told him to stop. So she was appearing to stop him on investing too much into Amadeus, on kind of confessing his love there, and all of this stuff. So she was kind of like, that's what I feared, stop it. And in this episode, it's completely the way around. They don't go on about that. I mean, okay, he felt kind of unconscious due to the reading Steiner, but they don't talk about this, what he just did. And the professor even tried to push him to make Amadeus fall in love. So there's a turnaround, which is strange to me. So that might be an effect of the reading Steiner that we've seen, of the change there in maybe in the timeline. However, that's one thing. Let's go to the first bit of the series, of this episode here. We have a bit of foresight of what's going. I'm not sure if we see something that happens in the future, will happen, or if it is mixed with his reading Steiner we've seen. There's someone called Nerima Garrison. Kind of Nordish, I guess. Danish, Swedish, something like that. Just by the name, you know. And he reminded me a lot by his chin and his general facial appearance and the slender kind of and panicked running he has. Reminded me a lot of Ocarina, although he wasn't. But he might be somehow related to Ocarina, I think. So we've seen him, and then we switched back into Ocarina, which as it's kind of as if he remembers something from another life. We don't know, maybe there's some kind of technology or stuff that gives you this ability. I mean, they are right now with Amadeus working on stuff to transfer memories into a computer. So possibly they could then transfer these memories from the computer, from the hard drive, to the brain of a human being. I mean, if it's just like, you know, as though it would be easy, like a copy from hard drive to hard drive. You possibly could do that the other way around as well, you know? So it could be possible to copy memories from Amadeus into a human living being. The consequences, however, would be you cannot even judge them, you know? Because you would kind of merge two brains, two memories, two beings. I mean, their emotions and everything are transported as well. So, but if you're able to like make sure that you just copy memories or specific moments, maybe that's what we are going for in the future. But that's, as I said, wild speculation. But it would explain how he, in this alternate version of his, accessed memories which are not his. And then we had this, I will call him General, sitting in front of him. Face is not visible, so it might be someone we know, like, as example, the professor. And tells him that they were luckily able to rescue him, retrieve him, whatever that means. And then Reading Steiner kicks in. He wakes up in his bed. The intro comes, and after the intro, we are in the normal timeline we had before. So it very much feels like this whole before the intro thing is somewhere in time where we do not know. And I'm not 100% sure if the occurrence we have now remembers this which we've just seen, or if we have seen something from the future, which will be later on in the series. So they make it confusing. So it's a bit like a puzzle now. But I will look out for more of those information. So looking forward. The moment when he is and so jumping back to what is now. He wakes up from reading Steiner. And the first thing, and that's once again telling you something about him, the first thing he does when he realizes I had a reading Steiner moment is to instantly, without thinking, running towards Mayuri to make sure she's alive, she's okay. So this panic is so burnt inside of him. As it was in the original Steins Gate. He did everything for her, and it was, in the end, it was just without thinking. He just did it on his own without thinking about consequences or how to act logically. There he just ran first. So this didn't change. He still is worried very, very much about her. And she was fine. So, at least something good. But what he mentioned then, and that is interesting here, is he checked that there in the room, in the lab, there is no computer. There's nothing set up. So it seems someone else has a time machine which is at least partially working. We cannot be sure if it is working completely, but at least partially working so that his reading Steiner triggers. So somewhere else in the world, it might very well be someone is doing small changes in time, small changes in history. Maybe with the same problems that we had in the original Steins Gate, that they can just do it for 24 hours, that they can just do small stuff. Or maybe they even not really having a working machine yet, like CERN had in the beginning, the one that just created jelly stuff. But even then, you would have short cuts in the timeline, and even those minor changes would change a small change in the timeline. And the one that always gets it is him. It's his ability, the reading Steiner, that he's able to remember it. So even if someone else jumps, he should be able to realize. Although I have to ask, shouldn't he have been able to realize the time jumps and the changes done by Suzuha? I'm not sure. However, interesting. Oh yeah, okay. The guest of Furuka's father, I will talk later. I just wrote it down here. Yeah, Daru was the next one. So I really like the fact how some characters changed. It's not only Ocarin. Daru in general behaves more adult. He has his moments when he falls back, as we had in this episode, when he did one really fatherly comment, and even Suzuha reacted like, "Whoa, that's my dad." And then he laughed about it himself and destroyed the moment, you know. But before that, the way he looks, the way he dresses, it is still him, but there are changes. You can see it. He somehow looks more adult. I mean, he's in kind of. You have to, you know, if he knows he has a daughter, he will have a daughter, however you want to say it. He knows he will have a woman, possibly wife. I guess they're married. He even knows her. Strangely enough, he was able to talk to her in the past, so without being pushed to do it. He's aware that he did build a time machine. He's aware that he did send his daughter back through time to save the world. So either you go crazy by that, or you somehow gain some confidence. I mean, it doesn't matter what anyone else did in the world. He built a time machine. The ideas and everything might be from Makis Kurisu and from Ocarina. Just the theories, the theoretical backbone of it. But the engineering, the real construction, is by a big part done by him. We have to see that. So, yeah, well, I guess he is having some kind of confidence by now. And I like it that you can see it somehow. So that's one thing. And now we come to Shiina Kagari. So Kagari, I guess Kagari is correct, is the little girl we've seen in some of those small snippets from the future. She is the adopted daughter from Mayuri. She's the girl with red hair and blue eyes, which in my last discussion I mentioned reminds me a lot of Makis Kurisu. I mean, she really, really looks like her, so I already guessed that she's some kind of relative of her. I would say daughter, but the question is, how could that be? So she got lost in time at 1998. So in our current timeline, she should be 22, which is a very fitting age. And we know some people who are around that age, as example Moha. It would be interesting to see if Moha knows her, maybe. And she was lost in 1998, and there happened a lot of strange things we've seen. So she picked up a weapon and pointed at Suzuha because she heard voices that told her that she has to stop her from doing it. I mean, we can go into wild speculations here. There's not much I can guess right now. So she was left there and then went on. She knows about the future. Even at this age, she is old enough to understand a lot, not all, but a lot of what happened in her future, and she knows that she traveled through time to rescue the world from World War III. She normally, I would say, she went to search for Mayuri, but it doesn't seem like. Then we have to question how much does she know about consequences of time travel. Maybe she's clever enough to know she shouldn't do it, or she wasn't able to do it before. Just guessing. By saying that she kind of heard voices. There were two things here. One thing is she looked into the sun, which reminds me a lot about Mayuri looking to the sun and holding up her hand. Hearing voices. I don't know. Maybe she has some kind of reading Steiner as well, that she is kind of able to see here something about the time lines that she wants to make sure. As I said, I can only speculate what her role in all of this now is. She might be the one who is building a time machine. It might be very well possible. She would be old enough by now. If she is related to Makis Kurisu, intelligence is not per se a thing of genetics, but as far as I know, if you have very, very intelligent parents, there's a higher chance you get a higher IQ, as far as I know. But who am I? I'm not a biologist, so Please don't don't hurt me if I'm wrong. So, but what she has for sure is, if she's still alive, and I guess so, she would have a drive to go for time machine and research and stuff like that, because she knows it works. She's seen one in work, so she might have some insights, which is not easy because she was 10 to 12 at this time, but still. So we will see. The Y2K problem was when she flipped, which was caused by the IBN, and Suzuha wanted to make this problem disappear by putting a patch into the IBN, which is interesting. They're still going for the idea that more neither every computer, everything, the internet in general, every modern technology has some kind of a foundation, of a basement in the IBN, which just people do not know. And because of the operation system of the IBN being incredibly old and thus having problems, they just need to fix it there, because in the end everything in the Y2K problem would relate back to the IBN. I like this idea, it's a pretty cool idea, and it still brings in the question, who the heck invented the IBN? I'm still waiting for if they maybe in the future bring in this person. And I wouldn't be surprised if it would be someone from the future. Just saying, self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's one thing. However, we have seen her now. I'm pretty sure there is this moment, and it was mentioned before, that Ruka's father has guests, has visitors. And there were two of them. One was, I guess, Japanese, from in heritage. There was a picture, just a short glimpse of a male Asian man talking to the father of Ruka. They were sitting on the left side, Ruka's father was sitting right. And next to him sat, I'm pretty sure, a female. It looked very much like it. In a white dress with golden lines on the clothing. Could be kind of a lab coat, although I would guess not. But it was very good looking in the meaning of not someone wearing cheap stuff. And this person had red hair. So it might very well be that this is the girl we're searching for right now. And being 22, who knows? Maybe we get a lookalike from Marquise Kurizu, which still would be weird. How to interact with that? That's something we will see, I'm pretty sure. It was mentioned that a ghost in braids is searching at, very likely for her as well. I think that was Suzuha, but I'm not 100% sure. Daru requested the help of professionals for searching missing people. Some people he knows, which is okay. And I really wasn't surprised it was Moika. I mean, it had to be. There was not much surprise for me. The only question I have to ask here is, how does he know Moeka? Or at least the people who are with her. I guess he doesn't know Moeka because that would be a strange change in the timeline, because he didn't know her in the past, as far as we know. But maybe he knows the people that work with her, so maybe that's why. She's still very much like she always was. That's one. And there's one last thing I wrote down. There's a very short scene of Professor Leskinen walking, I guess it was in the university. And when Ocarina tried to follow him, he was in an alleyway where there was no door or anything, just some cartridges. I'm searching for the word boxes. Which would possibly mean that there's like a hidden entrance to something, so I guess hidden lab. Which brings up the question, what do we have there? I mean, if Ocarina has access to Amadeus, what else do you hide? If it isn't Amadeus, what else could it be? Which brings me back to, what if he tries to invent a copy option in the other way, as example, which very likely would be shunned by scientists because it would be dangerous as heck. So he would try to do it in hiding, one thing. Or he's hiding someone else, maybe the girl we just talked about, or something else. We will see. I mean, we have someone who is doing time travel. It might be him as well. He has access to the memories of Marquise Kurizu and to her intellect, to the way that she worked and thought. And she did, just a year later, after they copied her brain, come up with the whole paperwork about a time machine in theory, which is the one she gave to her dad. So something of that, some parts of that should have already been somewhere in her mind. I mean, the general ideas in the background maybe. So it might very well be that it is a professor who is right now testing a time machine. There's a lot in it. I hope you liked that. I did for sure. A lot to think about, and I look forward to the next episodes. So, as always, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you the next week. Until then, my name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye, and out.